Well, hello there. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Chris Kuiper. I hope you and yours had a good Thanksgiving, had some relatives over or whatnot, or maybe you went to grandma's house over somewhere else and such. Hope it was a wonderful Thanksgiving. Maybe now you're ready to do a little shopping here. Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, maybe Travel Tuesday. I heard that's the day you get some good deals there for some traveling and such. If you're sticking around here, well, we're going to be talking about rain and fog here on our forecast, or at least a lot of fog. We've already had the rain. We've had a lot of rain so far, and let's break that down a little bit more, talk about our rain season perhaps a little more in depth. For the month of November, boy, it's been an awfully wet November, hasn't it? Over 2 inches, almost 3 inches of rain has fallen this November. That is over 2 inches above normal for an average November for the rain season, which now begins October 1st through October 28th or so. Over 4 inches of rain has fallen for the year. Normally, we're just a little over 1.25 inches. That's over 300% of normal. My gosh, those are crazy numbers. If you think that's some of the wettest stuff we've ever had, absolutely. That is the wettest start we've ever had for this time frame at Fresno Yosemite International Airport. There, they moved the airport. They moved the rain gauge officially back in the late 1940s, and since then, that's the wettest start we've ever had there. You see some of the other years there. Back in 1996, so the year 1996-97, close to it, almost 4 inches of rain. But officially this year, 4 inches of rain has fallen since October 1st, and that makes it our wettest start to a rain season ever. Here's a look at the other top 10. We go down to number 11, so we'll eliminate number 1. So with the other 10 times, so we've had our wettest 10 starts to the rain season. You would think that would mean, okay, we're absolutely going to get a wet season, a wet finish, a wet season overall coming up for us. And a lot of the times, that's correct. Let's go break down the top 10 wettest rain seasons ever, and then some or so. 5 of those wettest rain starts end up on this finishing list of wettest rain seasons ever. Not too surprising. Number 1 and number 2 are in there. What is it? Number 11 is in there. Number 13 is in there. And number 17 is in there as well. So that's half of them. Half of the top 10 wettest starts to a rain season end up on this wettest finishes to a rain season ever. Wettest rain season ever was 1982-83, that massive El Nino year. We had about 23.5 inches of rain in Fresno. That is a lot of rain. But sometimes it doesn't always pan out that way. 3 of our wettest starts ever in Fresno have also ended up on the bottom, 16 driest years ever. In fact, one of those years when we had a really wet start ended up as the 5th driest year ever for us in Fresno, just a little over 6 inches of rain. In fact, a few times that happened back in the 1960s, 1965, 66, 63, 64, 1960, 61, all recording under less than 7 inches of rain. So pretty much almost half the rain that they had that year came just in the month of October and November. So it doesn't always mean that it's going to be a wet season overall. It certainly helps, and it certainly is good to see all this rain early, but it's not a guaranteed book it. You know, we started wet, we're going to finish wet. So it's something just to consider. So as we go into the foggy time of the year here, we got all that rain out there. Now we talk about fog. Then we've got to talk about the curious case of November 1885. This is back when the rain gauge was, I believe, not downtown. I believe it was over by the cemetery or so at that time. We had the greatest one-day rain ever in Fresno. That happened on November 18th, 1885. What was going on in 1885? Fresno had just become a city just about a month or two before this happened. That was the year, if you're a movie buff, Doc Brown and Marty McFly, that's the year they went back to the past there in Back to the Future 3, 1885. But regardless of all that, we had the greatest one day ever rain total in Fresno, 3.5 inches of rain. That happened on November 18th. We also had the second greatest one day rain total ever, and that happened the day after. Talk about the odds of that. I don't know, all you statisticians out there, the greatest one-day rain total ever, and the number 2 on that list happened consecutive days. Oh my goodness. So 6.5 inches of rain, 6.6 inches of rain, fell in 2 days' time in Fresno back in November, middle of November, 1885. Not a lot of records found back in 1885. I did manage to find just one little piece of information from San Luis Obispo, and they were talking about also a massive storm in November of 1885 back then as well. So when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh my goodness, the weather person out there must have been out to lunch or something like that, or didn't record it for the second day or who knows what. But then the fact that there's something crazy also happened in San Luis Obispo makes me think, okay, maybe this is legitimate and it's officially in the books. This goes down. There was another couple of days of rain in that November of 1885, and it's our wettest November ever, with almost 8 inches of rain for the entire month of November, and ended up being a very wet year for them as well. But boy, I want to do a little more research on that and find out exactly what caused the 2 wettest days of Fresno's history ever to fall consecutively. My first thought is something tropical, like the leftovers of a tropical system. We'll have to dig deeper into that. All this water that we've had recently, all this rain that we've had recently has now led to fog, and lots of it lately. We've had the rain, so water is in place, or moisture is in place on the ground and in the atmosphere as well. And that's what we need. We need these long, clear nights. Now we're, about a month away or so from the winter solstice, so our nights are really starting to get long. The jet stream has been pushed to the north because high pressure is building on in and drying us out, and, well, theoretically keeping our skies clear if there wasn't any fog. And moist ground, you betcha. We've got that in spades out there with all the rain that we've had recently. And so we get the fog, and boy, I don't really see this pattern changing a whole lot. We may be in store for a very foggy fall here for us, as we've got the moisture in place. Now things are really starting to dry up, and I don't see the storm track returning to California here for at least another week or so. So I think we're going to be stuck in the fog here for a little bit. So foggy forecast continuing for us after what has been so far a very wet start to the rain season, which doesn't always guarantee a wet finish to the rain season overall.